Fall colors are happening in Portland, Oregon. Rose City Vintage Market is happening too. I'm so excited because I have had a lot of help today and we couldn't go live and show you the setup, but because we got done half an hour early, I actually can film the booth before we start selling. We're walking in the side entrance here and we have a lot of cool dealers with cool stuff here. Our space is not far away. There's a little bit of debris to be taken out. But this is how it's set up this time, and I'm so glad because I have a bunch of fresh stuff since last week in Spokane, and I'm doing this with two friends of mine, and they brought stuff, so we have a really different looking booth. I had an opportunity to bring all of this really great red and orange L.E. Smith and Viking, and the huge Blanco floor decanter, Moon and Stars, Fenton Carnival, all sorts of red, and orange, and it is right there with Christmas. And so far, the response to this has been really good. People have just walked right up to the booth, so very excited by how that turned out. Then my friend Kat, she brought some stuff, and she's got some really cool things, especially this Marge Riley ranch style split skirt from the 1950s. Marge Riley designed for Dale Evans and other people. That's worth well over $200. And down here next to this really great Italian cranberry glass are these wonderful service plates, because we're getting close to that time of year. These are Limoges, and these were nice quality Limoges in their time. She's got some really pretty Fenton pieces too. I made her put one on the front table because I liked it so much, but she has the maiden in the iridized, this nice Vaseline glass cruet. I really like the little candy jar here. And look at this, silver filigree. I have one of these too. I have to say her price is better than mine. So mine went back in the box and hers is out on display. And then she brought a bunch of kitchen stuff. Her aunt's 1940s bikini top, that's so cute. Useful things for the holidays. And then we get into kitchen and we sort of blended our booths together here. I have a big collection of wall pockets and we managed to put most of them out. Those are crystals for wristwatches, ladies and some men's sizes from the 1940s. I have someone interested in that set already. 3 of the Amish butterprint Pyrex, only the large one missing from that set. A bunch of fun beer and other things in the toasted nuts display. These are 1970s, the novelty pieces pretending to be drugs. Seagram 7, this actually lights. I don't have electricity in the booth, but it lights and spins. And then the really cool Metro Golden Mayor. It's nice having the backdrop here because we're able to really display all the way to the ceiling. And look how we stacked it. I just bought this in Spokane last week. I did not have it out for sale there. It's a Turner with the cockatiels. Love that piece. I really tried to set things up differently. Some of these pieces were with me last week and some were not. The brass birdcage did not come out last week, but it's here now. The Orient and Flume fish did, as did the blue butterfly wing piece there. But they were in an obscure place and I don't think we're really seen. So this week we're highlighting other things that weren't seen before. This very cute 1960s whimsy jar was not there. Neither was the Blue Heaven. I actually have a whole bunch of pieces of this. We just put out a few examples of each, and then we have a bunch in back stock. Even the little glasses in the ashtray, that was by Royal China in the mid-60s. Very popular pattern then, and the turquoises are coming back in style. Cute shelf with some true antique items. I love the old Stein on the left. The old mucilage bottle is pretty cool. A couple of pieces of Torquay motto ware. And Stanglebirds, I had a request for Stanglebirds, so I brought all I had. I think I have 3 or 4 here. A little bit of a Western feel here. The white antelope is actually Royal Dalton. Sacha Brastoff with the egg-shaped ashtray. And this piece, I sold a piece already this morning to another dealer. The C. Allen Johnson Lisa is there. This is Fenton glass, and it's Mount Rushmore, and that's actually a very hard to find bell that I got in Utah on the way here. I love that wall pocket. 1930s Japan, but what a great face. Brought a couple of pairs of moccasins. I didn't really have anything to bring in terms of basketry because it's selling so well at Tower Avenue Antiques in Centralia. I decided to leave it there. A little bit of World War II memorabilia here. Patriotic stamp 'em out envelopes with very unflattering caricatures of Hitler, Tojo, and Mussolini. It worked. We stamped them out. And then this is from the Gulf War. So you could learn who the bad guys were while you played cards. Somebody just told me that this, even though it doesn't have an artist's signature, because of the shield sign, is a Picard studio piece, as opposed to just a production piece. A little bit more Sasha Brostoff. I love these Westmoreland candlestick holders. They look so good with the candle wrap in them. And then I thought we finally, although I still need to get a shade that fits right, but we finally gave the Amphora owl lamp its due. It's front and center and in a place where the colors and the style work, because that should really go live with somebody. It's a great piece. Mixed a little bit of Fenton. Most of the Fenton is on the front table, but I did put the butterfly back here because it matched some of these other pieces nicely. Little piece of Viking blue meek you saw there. Fun Art Deco revival pictures. And then back here, an Adolf Hitler caddy. Then we get into cocktailware. Nice Italian piece here. More shakers, more wall pockets. Counterculture comics, cameras, and McCoy. We have it all here. Someone's interested in the Orient and Plume Panda. And I decided that this shade that didn't work because it was too short for the owl lamp works fine for this, so that's where it went. Then in here we decided to go crazy with Halloween. Naomi and I mixed our Halloween together, and all our oranges and just a lot of fun stuff, everything from peanuts to a pet rock. Lots of salt and pepper shakers on this wall hanging display, which is actually for sale. Barware, because 'tis the season after all. A little bit of uranium glass. I don't have much left other than Fenton Burmese. Now these are Naomi's, and these are very popular here. Old prints of Crater Lake because of the brilliant blue, and they really do capture the blue in the prints. I like this one with the 1920s, 30s era frame. And look at that very sweet print as well. You can tell Naomi's things because they have price tags and mine do not. Because Naomi, who is laughing behind me, is one of those people who actually does what she's supposed to before a show. So we've got some Hall China in here. We just had a lot of fun. Here's a couple of mottos she brought. She brought this piece of Viking. This one does glow with cadmium. And I brought this psychedelic poster, which I had an inquiry about already today, from 1970, because it definitely matches the Halloween vibe. And then she's got some really cool old Halloween. I love that luncheon napkin set. The honeycomb with the scarecrow is cool. She mixed in the German lava glaze and this piece that I haven't seen before, which is also West German. They made some really great pottery. She has the famous Gypsy Witch fortune-telling cards. And this cute little horn. I like this purse. It's like an old carpetbagger type style. And that's really neat. And only $50 on the Texaco Scotty doorstop. I think the ones who are listening and they can't hear the car because it uses Texaco oil. That was a 1930s advertising thing. And those are great, and that's a great price. She's got one piece of Weller left. I like these. I've got John Perry, but I don't have anything that looks like owls. Nice piece of Roseville, a Pendleton scarf. We are in Oregon. Pendleton is very popular here. Some cool books. I like the way she puts it together. She has a good eye for display. It's funny, we did not talk, the three of us, before we came about what we were bringing, and then we just put it together, and it all looks really fun, I think. She's got a lot of fun Christmas too. Elf on a Shelf. Some great Napco 70s era Santas and the Carolers. And look at these cute little felt ornaments. So this is the back part of the space. This is a great Afghan too. I can't believe all the work that went into this. It's like one of those old yo-yo quilts where every single thing is separate. And we're not the only ones scrambling to get ready in time here. And then we go up, and Kat is filming on that side of the booth. And here is the front aisle. There's a neat Alexandrite. This is Home Guard. Oh, very nice. Torben Jorgensen did that particular design. She has some really fun jewelry again. And I see several pieces I could highlight, but I really like this Art Deco pendant. I always have liked the Whiting and Davis bibs. She's got fun bead strands, hung 1, 2, 3. Did you say this was Judy Lee?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best things I think they ever made.
Yeah, she did some actually really nice stuff.
Yeah.
This is the lava glass, and it's iridescent somehow.
Wow, that is
Poured
really
glass.
beautiful. Poured glass, very nice. And look, lots of micro mosaic.
Yeah.
And Flower Power 60s era enamel. Look at her jumping rope, isn't that neat? And this great leather purse from about 1910. That's really cool. And then in here, we've got my jewelry display. I have a few things that maybe I haven't highlighted. I bought this in Springfield, the big 1940s bow knot pin. I have a few non-jewelry things that are neat. This enameled spoon is really cool. This fish is a pin that my aunt had, and that is right out of the early 70s. I really like that. And I like the cameo with the fleur-de-lis. That's just a little bit different. The fish pins, I think, are fun as well. So we have a pretty good variety as we go through the table. I have some long hanging pieces and then a bunch of perfume. Some commercial perfume with the perfume still in it and smells good. Blarney and Balenciaga and Hagliones. And then perfume bottles. The crystal ones are Oleg Cassini. The painted ones are Fenton, except for this one on the left here. Celluloid dresser set. Managed to really shake it up. I did get some new pieces this week and really tried to make it look different. And then this end is the end with a lot of Fenton, the very, very pretty lamp that has never been used. This woman here, I believe, is a Corday. Some animal figures. I like the black carnival glass from about 1970. And I still have some nice pieces of Burmese, a really wonderful Orient and Plume. And then Kat had this piece. This is just gorgeous. I believe these sell for as much as $300 because it is, I think that's the mulberry rather than the plum and Fenton. You collectors out there will straighten me out on that if I got that wrong. We had to put her here because, you know, she's a glamour puss from the era, along with some storybook dolls. So we're just having fun. I've got a bunch of movie posters that are signed. And I brought this that I found up in Canada with the Evergreen Playground. So, wow, such a pleasure to work with the two of them. Kat was so helpful, helping me get all of my stuff out and be prepared for this so that I could actually bring this to you before we start selling stuff. I always am showing you stuff after we've sold half of the booth. So I'm really pleased that we got to do this beforehand this time. Next, we're going to look at the rest of the show, but if you're enjoying this video the way I am enjoying bringing it to you, well, please click thumbs up because it really does help YouTube to know that people are interested in these things. And also, if you are interested in supporting the channel with the membership, you can go below the dash line in the description of any video and look for the membership link in the description. It'll tell you all about the perks associated with various levels of membership. And we're very grateful to all our subscribers, all our members, and all the viewers who make this possible and keep these wonderful antique shows going. Our neighbor has the most wonderful things. Our neighbors here have some really fun vintage fashion. And I like the way that they've done this. And they even have a fitting room. I think that's so smart. Someone did that here the last time. We have a dealer over here who has a lot of toys and games and a very cool Panther blacklight poster up there from back in the day. Our friend who has the great Native American, he's got a couple of woven bottles. Those are something you don't really see very often, along with wonderful old authentic basketry, just cases full of it. I mean, he is really a specialist, and he has a couple of hats. We showed you some hats and he told us about them last time, but these are interesting because these are from the Northwest. They seem to have macaw design in them. Prices around $1,500 each. Very hard to find. And look at these wonderful bags and the colors that is beautiful, along with a lot of really cool turquoise jewelry. Laura Caldwell would have enjoyed seeing that, but Laura Caldwell is in Egypt right now, so she's actually not going to be with us for this one, but we're looking forward to seeing her at the next one in July. There is some serious taxidermy. Good kitty. I really like the way they've done this display, the old frame, and then they hang all this stuff on it. That is such a clever way of displaying, and it makes a lot of disparate brass and metal items that might get lost if they were flat on a table look really good. I love the old elk lamp from about 1900 with the original hanger at $60. Is a great price. This clock with the cherub is really cool. This is just a really fun way of displaying, and I have to say the prices I see on their stuff seem really good as well. There's a very handsome French clock or two in the middle there. And then they have some cool stuff for Christmas. A wonderful big copper samovar, wonderfully shaped Western pottery from Denver. Yes, pottery, crocks and jugs and this sort of kitchenware are very popular here in Oregon as well. There is a big rural population and a big farm belt here. So you will see interest in these sorts of things. It's not just about urban stuff here, which is great because it makes the show a lot more interesting. Cast iron cars and tin steam vehicles and still banks. And this is all old. Look at the fun cigar cutter thumbing his nose. The aviator bookend in honor of Charles Lindbergh from the 1920s. Cast iron toys were very popular in that period of time. They've got some really neat stuff, especially this old fire engine that seems to have most of its pieces intact. This is Box and Found, and there's their QR code. They have some really cool studio pottery pieces. This one with the double handles like an old amphora. It was signed Jackson, they say. Now, I've noticed in Portland, there's a lot of people who really know these potters. They're not just buying for color and texture, but they'll also buy for color and texture because look at all the fun designs. There are people starting to really have great knowledge of these pieces, and we are starting to see some real scholarship. These are pottery craft. The overlapping glazes were Robert Maxwell's design, and then the staff actually came up with the freeform glazes that just flow. Pottery Craft was arguably the first mass market successful stoneware company. They've got $30 on that piece, and this is an unusual piece here, the hanging planter. You don't really run into that very much. $26 seems like a good price too. I do not even show this piece in my book. That's how scarce it is. Halloween is coming out, but look at this really cool hooked rug with the cannons and the flintlocks and the pistols. That's something really different. The colors look like right out of about 1950. Our neighbor across from us gets the coolest stuff. This is some sort of a little buckboard where you actually pull the lever, it makes the gear go, and so pulling it back and forth is what propelled you. This would be from sometime around the 19-teens or possibly 20s with the solid rubber tires. Very cool piece. Look at the cast iron loading dolly there. That's really fun. These little anchors are interesting too as desk items. And then these very small single needle sewing machines. This is all pretty neat early stuff here. Down here, Backstage USA, that is the Peep Show. That was one of two shows for adults at the Seattle World's Fair, one of the last World's Fairs to have adult entertainment. The Peep Show didn't do so well, but the card there and the little matchbook are from Gracie Hansen. She was from Morton, Washington, a tiny little woman who put on a big show called Night in Paradise, and she became very famous in Washington State because of it. She even ran for governor at one point. Here's some other cool World's Fair stuff from Seattle. This is Pacific Stoneware, the mug here. They were out of Portland, one of their first pieces under Bennett Welsh. And the really cool chrome lighter. And behind a fly to match the size of the fish that got away. I've never seen that souvenir before. That's really fun. Service Scouts for the World's Fair, so cross collectible with Boy Scouting. Fun group of stuff. And look, you get a $100 rebate if you buy that tie bar. The lamp and lighting people have such a stunning, stunning space. And I do want to show this piece because I don't think they had this the last time. The shape of the shade is really unusual and very pretty. And look at the swans. Look at all the detail in this. That is just beautiful. They say it's from the 1920s. It's priced at $750. There was a time 20 or 30 years ago where just a plain shaded lamp from that time like this would have been priced this high. So honestly, this wonderful antique lighting has become more affordable, and I think it's just beautiful. Look at this with the eagles in it. This is Jefferson Lamp Company from about 1900, priced at $1,700. Here's their information because they do lamp repair and restoration as well, so they might be good people to know because they obviously do an amazing job. Well, it's early buyer time, and yet we already have a ton of people in the booth, which is exciting because there's not that many people coming for early buyer, but they pay extra to get to see the stuff first. And this is definitely not picked. We did not get a chance to go and shop anybody's booth yesterday. This is interesting as well. This is Wabasha, a celebrated Sioux chief. This is from an 1850s book that showed various Native Americans in their dress. And it's a fascinating book because it shows a wide variety of distinct tribal designs and clothing, and far from the 1950s version where everyone was a chief with a big feathered headdress. They actually showed very realistic depictions of some of the important chiefs of the day. Good modernism at this show. These are Gunnar Ander. This is the Swedish designer with the various iron candlesticks. I think they're just so striking. I like the use of the glass in this one. The 7 light is $300. The one with the glass is $125. Great design. My friend Andrea Macchioni has been a dealer for many years, and she does Bakelite and she does deco, and it is wonderful. And I'm so glad that she's at the show. And I'm going to show you a few of the things on the side of the booth, but she's very busy in there, so I won't get up too close. This is a wonderful Cambridge nude stem, one of my personal favorite designs. This is a very interesting little box. It looks like it is Art Nouveau, as she says. Likely Austrian, definitely European with that design.
That's cute.
I know you folks never get tired of looking at cool jewelry, and because Andrea has some of the best Bakelite collection ever. She's been a dealer in this for several decades, and she gets really amazing stuff. You don't see the cherries or the apples very much. I've never seen the pears before. That's a great set. I like these where they're combining the wood as well. These tomatoes, those are a lot of fun. And of course, things that are carved, things that are multicolored. The nice thing is she really knows her stuff, so none of this is reproduction. Everything she has is original from the 1930s, 40s era. And she's just got such a great selection. These are the types of things you really want. Anything with the Latticino design, anything rhinestone studded. These are the original ones with the dots. Notice the butterscotch color. Those were originally closer to a white color. And with age, well, they turned into something else. She does have other jewelry as well. Some really nice Chinese pieces here from the 1920s. This is very popular to collect now. And you see some of them are studded with semi-precious stones or jade, but a lot have enameling. Very pretty. I like the little teapot pin too. That's another one that's Chinese from back in the era. A lot of these were brought by people who were missionaries in China during the early nationalist era. And Juliana, the one on the right there is the Easter egg, Diella and Lister, and the one on the left with the beautiful blues. She's also got some really nice Art Deco dress clips. I had someone request dress clips earlier. I sent them this direction. Hopefully they'll get over and see those. Look at these fun commercial perfume bottles in the back. Commercial because they were made for those fragrances originally. Madeira de Orient. Look at the great bottle. That's the wood case it came in. And this one's very pretty too in the cobalt bottle.
7, 8 years. I just couldn't. I'm just like,
Fleur d'orange. And then this is nice apple juice Bakelite in the top of that. This is guilloche. This is very nicely carved. This almost looks like it could be Lalique, the way it's done on the bottom.
actually. Oh, that one is fine. Yeah, but he's
This is just a very pleasant booth. Lots of fun cups and saucers, a lot of pretty English pieces. I see prices under $10. This is a nice society piece with that pattern there. Everything from lavender sun-turned pattern glass from the Victorian era to milk glass. That's Copeland Spode. So that's a nice piece. And again, only $10. That's actually a very good deal on that piece. I like the cake plate. I believe this is an Ainsley pattern. Yes, Pembroke. There's your mark on the bottom. And what price do they have on that one? Only $20? Wow. So this is the thing. You can definitely find deals here. If you like porcelains, the prices are really good right now. It is a great time to be collecting porcelain. They also have a fun kitchen section. I really like the rooster on the bread box there from about 1950. Lots of vintage fashion at this show, which is fun to see. There's a lot of vintage fashion in Portland and a lot of interest in it here. This dealer has some wonderful old gramophones. Look at the incredible horn on this machine with the beautiful painting. This is an old Edison cylinder disc player here. Cylinder disc could actually be recorded on, so you'll have some very early recordings of people's voices from around 1900, but the records had better sound reproduction. This is one of the first portables right here, priced at $275. And then also some cool radios. I really like this one with the separate speaker from the 1920s Cinco phase, and this one is playing a fun, jaunty song that I don't think YouTube will demonetize us for, but I'm going to talk over it anyway. This is a really neat set here too. This is an RCA radiola, and here is the separate speaker with the tapestry. You paid extra for that back then. This guy's always got a really cool booth. Let's see what some of the stuff he's got going. I see a lot of Breweriana and soda fountain and tins and things. He also has this interesting display of military helmets here. This is what a lot of people did with tractor seats back in the day. They put them on top of milk cans and made stools out of them. And we need a place to sit, so who knows? For $25, that might end up back in the booth with us. This is a cool early football guide when it was just starting to be a professional game. With the new rules changed a lot. The formations changed a lot. And even the equipment, this is when you're starting to see padding and leather helmets, because a lot of people were dying playing football, and Theodore Roosevelt, who was a fan, threatened to ban it if they didn't do something about it. So they developed safety equipment. These are cigar or pipe cleaner linens with early baseball designs on them. And then we've got a bunch of 1950s and 60s era baseball collectibles. The little pogs or toppers from milk bottles here. An early Los Angeles Angels pin before they were the California Angels. There's something from the Munich 1972 games. Next to it, here are some original handbills from the Fillmore West in San Francisco. BBs and pellet guns and target guns are definitely collectible. I usually get between 50 and 100 a piece, depending on what style and what model it is. Sometimes they can be more than that. Well, this fellow is front and center when you come in, and I can see why, because this stuff is so visually interesting and colorful and just fun. We're going to see a few things that you might have forgotten. These are little Kittles, one of them in their mint green ice cream cone, one in their little bottle, and one is their lollipop. They sold them in all sorts of interesting little guises like this. They had houses for them. I have a friend whose sister still collects them. and has ever since they were new back in the late 1960s. And then a bunch of older Barbie dolls, Midge dolls, the original swimsuit edition. We have a Twiggy doll here in the early green and yellow and blue striped outfit there, next to an American Girl doll and another early Barbie, and a Barbie with brunette hair. She was not always a blonde. And then there's some nice older dolls here. Love the Hula Girl and the composition. That's a very hard piece to find. She's priced at $450. This one is quite sweet because it's so detailed, and the original clothing is really nice. That's a Simon and Hall big. And the shoes are really great too. Priced at $225. A wooden Chinese doll. You do see the silk that is unraveling because of the weighted silk, unfortunately, but it's a great piece. Then there are other places that look like, well, you're entering someone's home. And it's so much fun. There are some really good stylists here. Laura Caldwell isn't with us this weekend because she's in Egypt, but there are some other really good stylists in the Portland area that put it together in a way that you can see what it would look like at home. And I have to say, I'm always very impressed with this way of setting up a booth because it's not something I have the skill to do, but it is absolutely a skill. This outfit is called Gray, and there's their information. They have some really fun pieces too. The classic Saturn looking lamp design, priced at $495. A very desirable lamp from its period. I like this dining room set very much as well, with the teak, and I'm curious to know who the designer is on the chairs. They look like Thonette perhaps, but let's take a look and see what their tag tells us, because they're obviously very knowledgeable. Okay, Hagen and Strandgaard. Tobin Strandgaard is another good designer out of Denmark in the era. $16.50 for the set of 6 is an appropriate price for what it is. It's a really cool 13-star ensign flag, and you see that it has somebody's name and the date 1912 on it. That's a scarce variety, priced at $495. Wool runners are so inexpensive right now. This one isn't quite old enough to be semi-antique, which is 50 years, but it's close. Only $175, 7 feet long. The classic Falstaff trays. I love the way they're using the bamboo to show these pieces. This is a wonderful Victorian piece. This is not just a modernist show. There are true antiques here. This document box is only $48 with all the tacking and the embossed design on the printed leatherette, and then it has more design inside. Offset lock here. This is going to date to about 1880. Seems like a very good price for what it is. Another cool studio piece. This is Elisa Nemeth. There's the signature on the bottom. Redware with this intaglio design. Very mid-century. What a great tramp art frame. Somebody just chipped and carved and did all of this by hand, and you can see the handwork in it. Notice none of these are exactly the same as each other. Everything is done by hand. It's a wonderful piece. Priced at $350 because unusual pieces of tramp art are spendy. They're all unique after all. No, I actually originally from the Seattle area.
Oh, okay.
But Portland's got such great vintage that I love coming down here. That's a very pretty piece, $20. Oh yes, I think I'll take that from you, thank you. Well, I didn't expect to go shopping, but look, I found something. I want to show you this too. This is a Stanhope charm. It would hang on a charm bracelet or a necklace, and you would be able to look through those 2 little holes and see. Do you know what this Stanhope shows inside? Is it the Lord's Prayer or?
No, it's not the Lord's Prayer, it's pictures.
Yes, it's Niagara Falls souvenirs. So you look through those tiny little things, and you can't really see it here on the screen, but when you focus your eye, you see little tiny images, and they are images of Niagara Falls. So this was a tourist piece sold probably about 1910. Very cute. A lot of people love collecting stanhopes, and they can appear in all sorts of things. The Lord's Prayer will be in a cross rosary or necklace, and then all of a sudden you notice it has one of these little clear looking dots in the middle. Well, that tells you to look in it and see if it's a stanhope. So fun thing to collect, and they don't take up much room. Awesome, that's great. This is how you can find them when you're not here at the show.
That's right.
And you have really cool stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, look at that cool thing he's holding. That mask is amazing. Here's a great space with some really cool furniture. I really like this arts and crafts. This Lifetime. This was another of the very popular and now famous to collect arts and crafts companies. Look at the way the joinery is done in a manner that is not requiring nails and glue. The point of these really high-end Mission era arts and crafts furniture makers was to do things in the traditional manner. This one's priced at $29.50. These are really neat. These are little silver chests here. Also could be used for jewelry or other collections. And look at the great totem pole, which is sold. That looks like something somebody would have had made probably in the 1940s or 50s. They've got some other really nice furniture too, and I like the fact that they've got Van Bergel pottery on top of this. Nice bookcase here. Great office piece with all of the drawers and doors and file drawers. Let's take a look at some of this. This is a really pretty piece here. I always love the two-tone glazes. The dragonfly bowl is from the 1920s. It's got almost an orange peel kind of texturing. Another dragonfly piece. This one's Peters and Reed. A little different shape in the dragonfly, as you see. Another really pretty Van Bergel piece, and this is early, the butterfly, 1920s era. I really enjoy Van Bergel, and it's nice to find some pieces that are not just sort of the usual things made in the 1970s that we see more commonly. Bookcases on is also attributed to the Lifetime Company from about 1905. Here's a repurposing for you, perfect for Halloween. This is the coffin cart coffee table. Those expanding things could be used to put gurneys on, and yes, they were also used in funeral homes. They have a couple of related items here. This is a lamp for an open casket. Old funereal stuff is very collectible, but they have a lot of things that are maybe more fun for the living. Really great swag lamps. I like that silver affair especially. Love these 1930s era cutouts for the advertising. This is for Belding's Taffeta. What a cute dress, and she's clutching her pearls. This is neat. This is a California Taylor Company tile top table. You can tell by the tiles. The Californian are a little more valuable than the Mexican, although both do sell in this market. And this space, really, he's just got a lot of fun stuff. He used to deal in mainly true antiques, and now he deals mainly in mid-century and really cool stuff that people are collecting now. That's about as elemental as a clock can be on the right there. Look at this really cool circa 1970 spotlight. This one says it is Globe 2000, made around 1960, he says. Here's our designer information. Frank Leitgelen for Rock, Amsterdam. So Dutch modernism, very cool. Priced at $375. These are neat because these are original. They are not reproductions. Well, she's having fun. If I won a bunch of money and had that outfit on, I guess I'd throw my cards all over the place too. Harold's Club, 5,000 visitors daily in 1960. And wow, that's probably a morning there now. This is really neat. Also a display. This is a Chinese rice barrel, hand-painted from the early 1900s, and you have scenes of China on it. And it would have come full of rice. Really neat piece. That's priced at $275. She has a lot of beautiful glass in this space, but especially look at this cranberry glass Victorian parlor lamp. This is very nice. If it was hung, it would be just beautiful. It looks like it's been rewired. It's all ready to go, and it's only $345. We used to get more than that at estate sales for these. And with cranberry coming back into style, I'd say there's a chance that'll happen again. More fine jewelry, and again, out of deference to the designs, I don't show the fine jewelry up close typically unless I'm invited to. But right next door, we have our A Pool Jeweler sign, so maybe they could use that next door. I love this display with all the tins. This is why people like lots of little shelves, little boxes, because they're great to display collectibles like this. A lot of these are fairly ordinary, regularly seen pieces, but the tuxedo seems to be in good shape. That's a little bit more unusual. I always like 3 states. Some of these are tobacco, some are ginger, some are tea, some are milk. No narcotics, alcohol, or dangerous drugs. That was different than a lot of stuff being sold back at that time. Well, they are having a half-off sale on the side and back table, so I think I'll take a quick look through here. Christopher Radko, not old enough for me yet, but I know they are starting to be collectible. A lot of these pieces are vintage, but they don't necessarily have a collector following per se, and so I think that's why you're seeing the sale sign. I do like the feather hats here. Ooh, and the Violet Ray machine. Now, if that works for $25, I would take that. See if we can test it. They also have one of these Geiger counter pieces here. It's missing the side of the case, but honestly, it's more that the machine is there and works for that price. Ooh, I like the Scorpion. One of our viewers was kind enough to buy me a Scorpion paperweight, and I think maybe I'll get this for my nephew. Ah, the club shape, that's cute. Boy, only $7.50 for a bullet scale for reloading in an old box. Gotta say, I think that's something that'll sell too. I sell a lot of different things. They have a bunch of specimens there. I know people like that sort of thing, but I don't see anything that really grabs me. $25 on those. Oh, there's a Halloween mask for you. Cute old boat model. It's a reproduction, but it's a cute idea, and a couple of pond boats that I like. But I have one I haven't been able to sell, so I'm not going to jump on another one yet. Space Shuttle Columbia. That would probably do well in Florida. I said it looks complete. These came out of some basement because I can smell the must. Adlai Stevenson, he ran for president a few times without success. Great Disney piece. This is the chain Ferris wheel. 1940s and 50s. These did work very well, and I'm sure this one still does. It looks like it's hardly been played with. This is priced at $550. This is a hard piece to get in good working order and so clean. All right, well, it is day 2, and boy, there are people here, and it is looking busy, so I'm going to try to film some more while I have a chance. This is Billy Galaxy's space. He has been co-hosting on a YouTube channel that I am going to put in the ticker, by the way, because it is really cool, and if you are into toys, you're really going to enjoy it. He's been traveling around with a fellow from Leicester in England, and they've been going to different places around the world and showing how to find cool toys. But at this particular show, this time he has a lot of really great Western wear that's vintage. The rodeo jacket made in California. A lot of these are 1950s and 60s. Love the red vest out of the 70s. And look at that old-time Buck Rogers spacecraft sweater. That is really cool. Captain Bruce Vintage, they've got a great sign. They also have a great Elvis Presley original movie lobby poster. This is the giant one here. This is when he was with Stella Stevens in Girls, Girls, Girls. And it's got the original 62. So this is original from 1962. And there are not many this size that survive. They have 1,600 on that. This is such a fantastic display of advertising, of Halloween. Look at all the Halloween candy containers. I haven't seen this much of a display in one place in a long time. You do have food service here, but in front of the food service, they've got this space, which is really fun, especially because they have an Airstream in the middle of it, and that is part of the display. So we're going to walk by this really cool lane table here. and these very nice lane chairs in the rhythm pattern. And we're going to come inside and see what this is like. Just love the old Airstream. And here they have their barware. This looks like a party on wheels. I think it's so fun that dealers are doing this. They're using these as their trailers, bringing their merchandise in it, setting up at a show, and then this is part of the display, right down to the green AstroTurf on the floor. Love the little tulip table here with the Cape Cod on it. And if camping is your bag, well, gee, they've got a whole campsite set up here with vintage sleeping bags where the interior was more interesting than the exterior. A lovely chemical toilet from the 1970s. Old Coleman coolers. There are people collecting all of these types of things. Picnic basket. Look at this great Coleman set. Priced at $300. This looks like it's never been used. Outdoor oven with burners. The famous Ingrid Ball picnic set in the middle here. And I love this. You could sit in the sun and not burn yourself. They're having half price right now. That makes me tempted to get this very cute little bohemian glass decanter for only $15 with the cut work. Let's see what else they might have. Nice candlewick pieces, but I've got quite a bit of that already. The Clemenson's heart. This is a string holder. You'll always have a pull with me. And then you pull the string out of the bottom. That's awfully cute too. I think I'll need to get that. McCoy piece here. Nice old inkwell. I like these forest green, the Owens, Illinois ice jars. And a lot of these shakers are pretty cool. The custard glass is McKee. Now this will glow under a black light as well. I wish they had salt as well as pepper. They have the flower back here. I don't know whether I could get $79 for it though, so I think I'll leave that. But this is fun. I found a few things. This is fun too, a food truck, twin cylinder. This is an old 1950s era International Metro delivery van that they've turned into a food truck. That's pretty cool. Let's see what we have down this aisle. The psychedelic era Beatles buttons are $38 for the set. Rhinestone jewelry, and I have to say their prices seem pretty good. This is Czechoslovakian here, and this one, oh, I think they only have $13 on it. I will be getting that. That's a steal. Now I have to look at the rest. This is kind of fun because it's dished. Priced at $36. This one has some nice metal work to offset it at $32. This has a nice color combination for fall.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Also $32. These look like Judy Lee construction on the back, as does this one. Old Betsy Johnson that's out of production is something collectible now. Look at that beautiful piece. That was $475. New, they're asking $168. A lot of nice cameos here, along with some cool Bakelite. I like the heart shape with the little cherry beads. And the double carb strawberry, that's different too. And then there's an interesting Czech filigree necklace with the amber at the top there. More fantastic advertising, some great old vintage toys. I really like this Structo, early Structo from the 1920s. Priced at $4.95. It's got the steam shovel on the back. This one is from the Motor Market, priced at $4.25, and you would have had all of your various food stuff in there. The food stuff they have is a little more recent than the car, but you get the idea. That was a Buddy L toy. And then this one in plastic is a Corvette split window Stingray from the 1960s. This is Laura. I just met her today, and she said that she's so excited because she is doing well here, and she's doing well with things that are grandma core. A lot of millennials and Gen Z are interested in these things because it reminds them of growing up. And that's where a lot of things start, is with nostalgia. She's got mix and match sets of stoneware. I am thinking these 70s patterns are something to be looking for. And hello there. I told you I'd get over and see you.
see you.
I'm so happy to see you too. This is just great. And tell me, what, if you don't mind, we were having a conversation and I thought it was so interesting. And you mentioned something about younger people getting into it and how we communicate with them and tell them what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, younger collectors and younger vintage enthusiasts see an environment like this, and this is what they think vintage is.
Yes.
Whereas for what we consider like the traditional vintage collector, this is yesterday.
Right.
When we see people, especially ages 20 to 30 coming in here, it's a lot more accessible for them to feel an environment that feels almost like their parents' or their grandparents' home.
Yes.
It's almost like an entryway into everything else.
That is so true. I really believe that nostalgia starts with what grandparents had.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because families in the 90s, they had all this stuff from like writing. But then they also had like a little glassware that they might have spent a little bit of extra money on.
Exactly.
Site ornament from the 60s that kind of stuck around by accident. And so it was just such an interesting eclectic period.
I really think so too. And I am seeing a whole lot of people, including older people, who are suddenly looking at all these discontinued Corel patterns and going, hey, you know what? It's really lightweight. It's really durable. I can use it in an RV and it doesn't weigh a bunch of... I'm older now and I don't want to heft big heavy dishes around. So it seems to me like the young people who are seeing this and saying this is our nostalgia, well, it's also appealing to an older generation who's, like you said, this was yesterday to them, but now it's been a while and they're noticing, oh, I kind of missed out on that. I love the fact that younger people are getting interested in this and that you're finding those things that are the gateway to get them into everything else. Yeah, it's so nice to meet you. A couple of different eras of Olympia beer trays there on the left. Northwest interest, of course. This is just a really fun show, and we are starting to get really busy. I am not going to be able to stay out of my booth too much longer. My friend Barbara has really beautiful glass. She has been a dealer at the glass shows for years, and it's so fun to see her here. Look at this beautiful tango vase from Czechoslovakia. Really, really bright orange color. And it does have a very nice signature on the bottom. Sometimes you can't see those, and a lot of people miss Czech glass from the 30s because they don't realize that's what it is. Love this starfish shape on this Murano piece with all of the silver spangle here. Paperweights. Well, we know people are interested in these again. It's great to see. This is Glass Ice Studio. That's a pretty collectible name from this part of the country. Priced at $75. Here's an Eichholt. And of course, a lot of us have discovered Eichholt lately. I think that's actually a rather good price on that piece. There's the signature, 1998. Magic Sands is a studio that I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen this piece before, but I will definitely be looking for this. I like the spider web effect in it. This little bone, I thought it was Robert Held. It has his sort of iridescence. He tended to have this sort of pulled design in his pieces, which is important to look for because sometimes his signature is obscure or not actually there at all. This is fun because this is Alexandrite glass, so it's going to turn color. Notice how up in one light it's more to the purple and another light more to the lavender. This is a Caithness piece with the signature from Scotland. They did a lot of really neat stuff, especially Alexandrite glass, but others as well back in that period of time. Aw, and we have a visitor to our booth. Look at that. So where do you sell?
I have First City Vintage in Oregon City Antiques and a little place in Silverton called Homestead Relics.
Awesome.
I also have a YouTube channel.
You do?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Bridget Lefevre's First City Vintage.
That's great. So you've got another channel to watch, folks. And her name is?
Bridget Lefevre.
There you go. And that's how you'll know. Well, Kat has been taking care of my booth for me while I went out and shopped and looked around and filmed, but I have to go back to work. We have had such a good time so far at the Portland Antique Show. Rose City Vintage Market coming again in July of 2025, and we will hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.